So most of the people fighting with a sword and writing with a brush, but I choose to fight with a brush and make friends with a sword. I'm a national kendo athlete, a calligraphy teacher and judge. And I'm also a scholar who study and research the Chinese etymology, which is ancient Chinese character. So at first glance, you may see these three words seems unrelated, but they all taught me what resilience truly means, and they shaped my life. So I will share my story about the Chinese calligraphy. In year 2000, I began to learn calligraphy from a retired school teacher. At that time, he has only two ways to teach. Write well and join every competition. So, 2001, I took my very first competitions. And the time I was still just a kid. So, take part in the competition, so I just obeyed. And obviously, I failed. Yes, okay, yeah, thank you. So apparently I failed for the first competition. And it does make me feel very sad and disappointed. But now, when I look back to it, I've realized that every failure is actually start shaping me and training my resilience. Until when I was in a secondary school, I started winning awards. Especially in my Form 4 and Form 5, I reached to the top 3 and eventually get national champion. And from the day I retired from these active competitions in 2015, I realized that I had actually participated more than 200 competitions. I went through many competitions without a single prize. So I feel lost, and I think I'm falling into a bottleneck in my learning. So I even start to intimidating the others blindly, and even so-called creativity. Until I met my second teacher, a true calligrapher. Then I realized that a competition is just a small part in the calligraphy journey. He reminded me that if we practice calligraphy only for competition, then we will have already lost the true purpose of practicing. This is the graph I always share to my students. Practice, a lot of practice are needed as the foundation, and then from what we're learning, we start observing everyone's how they write the calligraphy or how the best art perform. And eventually, we're able to analyze every different voices. So calligraphy for me is just like a marathon. Because some people, they start off fast, but burn out quickly. Some people, they give up in a halfway. And some people even lost track on their way. For me, I will just keep going slowly, step by step. With the patience and perseverance, I believe that those who keep going will eventually get their achievements. And the most important part is, I don't know how far I can go in my life about the calligraphy. The most important is enjoy the process and the progress. Next, I will share about the ability to solve problems and face the unknown. I'm sure that you're all familiar with these 4 ancient civilizations, and today I'm going to focus on this Yellow River ancient civilization, the Chinese character. Can you all guess what characters are these? It looks like a fish, an elephant, scorpion, chicken. These are all the very origin of the Chinese character now. And that is from the symbols and characters from bronze. And this, I'm sure everyone knows, very famous oracle bone script. As you can see from this chart, is the evolution of the Chinese character, and you can think it like a family tree. What you see here is the result of decades of work by the experts and scholars through many archaeologies and interpretations. And there are still many gaps remains unsolved, especially on others rare Chinese characters. When I learned calligraphy, I was fascinated by this seal script, and then this seal script led me into the world of Chinese etymology. But at the time, this subject is very niche that I had no proper guidance, so I spent my pocket money and even the prize money I won from competition to buy a lot of books. And my mom scolds me sometimes because she worried that I wasting money into a wrong reference. So it is tough in the beginning because I have no idea how the ancient Chinese character evolution and how many types they had. Especially, I'm not from Chinese independent school. Then until I enter Utah's Chinese studies. Yes, Utah, my choice. I finally had a systematically way to explore this field. And when I look back to it, I realized those struggles were actually not wasted. In fact, it gave me an advantage that when I was in Chinese studies, I was able to read ancient characters more than my classmates. So when we encounter an ancient character, what we do? First, we have to collect a lot of materials which related to this ancient character. And second, we have to study a lot of works from different scholars and experts. Third, we have to distinguish which scholars' theory and how their viewpoint is matched to this or related to these ancient characters. And last, we have to come up with our own conclusions. This method is a lifelong asset, whether in life or in work. So when I face challenge, I will apply this guideline to search for an answer. Last one, kendo. I hope everyone don't mix up kendo with fencing. It's different. According to All Japan Kendo Federation, the concept of kendo is to discipline the human character through the application of the principles of the katana, Japanese sword. Last August, I went to Japan to join their summer camp training in Shizuoka City by Japan Airlines. So at the time, I joined with the Shizuoka University students and also the police force. The teacher, we call Sensei, asked us about a question. What is the difference between kendo and sports? I guess you might find it difficult because you don't practice kendo. So what I try to say is, kendo is not a sport as you thought. It's more like a philosophy of life. In 2017, I joined kendo when I studied in Tsinghua University. The time my first match was in a university level competitions in Beijing University. Every time I step into the mesh, honestly, I feel very nervous, extremely nervous, because it's very normal because we want to beat right. These are the nervous faces that my friends captured from the competitions. The left one is the Hong Kong Open, and the right one is the last year World Kendo Championship in Italy. So you can see how stressed I am. So when you practice Kendo, your personality will be reflected from it. If you are an impatient person, you will easily rush in and reckless attack. If you are hesitant, you will always miss the chance to strike. Therefore, our teachers always giving us advice that to refine our technique and also our character. So what I try to say is facing fear and surpassing yourself. In daily life, we always encounter something that we scare. For example, professor give you a lot of assignments. I know Utarian, right? A lot of assignments that you feel that it's impossible to complete. But what you can do, just do, because it's a coursework mark, we need to rely on it, right? So same situation in Kendo. Sometimes we have to face teacher or even high-ranking senior. My opponent in the World Kendo Championship is an 18 years old Austrian Japanese, very young and very fast. And another opponent is a 190 cm tall Belgium, very tall and big. So what to do? I have to face it. So that's I changed three platform. Yeah. Testing, yeah. Okay, so come back to Kendo. So in Kendo, there's a saying that when you hit your opponent, when you get hit by your opponent, you must think why. And also, when you get point from your opponent, you also have to think why. So that's the way of growing up. And when you feel fear, but you have no choice but to face it, just tell yourself, I'm prepared, I will do it. As like the Chinese always say, 来都来了. So there's the 3 lessons of resilience. Calligraphy about patience and practice. Chinese etymology about problem solving and persistence. And Kendo is about focus and adaptability. What is life? For me, my life linked with this Kendo, calligraphy, and Chinese etymology. In other words, they shape my life journey. Through calligraphy, I learned how to face the society and stand in front of people. Through Chinese etymology, I had the opportunity to study in Tsinghua University and learn from the world-class experts. And through Kendo, I not only had met friends from around the world, I also met my wife. What is your brush? What is your sword? Everyone can hold their brush to write a remarkable life of their own. And everyone can hold a sword to overcome all the challenges they face. So find your sword and your brush. Shape the story that only you can tell. Thank you.